Me? No? Oh, shit.
Works for me.
So, apparently the movie has affected Joe, so I'm gonna kick this off. Welcome, guys. And, I think we're good. We're good.
Just relish this. Like, it's not often that we actually get to talk without him saying whatever he wants to say.
That is true. Welcome. We just got back from seeing A Quiet Place by John Krasinski.
Jim from The Office.
Jim from The Office. I don't know what I was going to say. I messed up with his name. Shit.
Well, it's his first movie he's directed, and I think he actually did a pretty good job. This was one movie that we actually saw previews for a couple months ago, and I actually thought it looked really, really good the first time the preview came out. We were both really excited about it. It looked like a really good horror film. And then 2 months back, or a month back, they released a second trailer where they showed the monsters, and I was worried he was going to fall into the same problems that a lot of like new directors in the horror genre do, where they show you the bad guy and you just don't care, and it's like, all right, whatever, it's just like some dude in a big rubber suit or some bad CG fest. And this kind of wasn't the case. I kind of liked this movie. It was not what I was expecting. Definitely not what I was expecting, because it was sold as, the commercials were horrible. It's like, it's one of the best horror movies of our time. It's not.
Never believed these commercials.
Yeah, but I mean, I don't even think I would call this a horror movie.
No, I would say it's more like a thriller or something.
Yeah, it's like a thrilling, suspenseful monster movie. And in that, if you classify it there, it did very well. This is a horrible horror movie. So if you're expecting to be scared, I didn't get that feeling. One of the reasons I love horror movies so much is I get this feeling. It's like this. If there was a pillow, I'd be almost like hiding behind it. I'm looking at the screen. I don't know what's going to happen. And there was none of that at all this entire time. Not for me. There was a couple times where he kind of got me with like unintentional jump scares. They played a lot with the volume, where everything's very quiet. And then all of a sudden, there's a lot of sounds that come through, or hand that reaches out and grabs something. And so there was some parts where, I mean, I guess you could say this is scary, but I didn't feel that way.
Yeah, I would classify it more as a thriller, and I agree with your point. For me, a horror would, after I finish watching a horror movie, I would be scared to go turn off the lights or go down a dark hole. I didn't get that sense of urgency or whatnot, but I was in suspense, and I was like, as soon as I heard a sound, I was like, what are you doing? It really got me involved in this movie.
Yeah, you kind of get invested, especially because they go to such a high degree to make sure that an insane amount, to the point where I'm usually the one that like nitpicks, like, oh, that doesn't make any sense. Like they go to a crazy level where there's sand everywhere they walk. They're painting the boards that are creaky or not creaky versus creaky. And they were actually really smart about how he went, and so hats off to the person who wrote this with him. They did a really good job kind of fleshing this world out. You see just enough of it in newspaper clippings that you don't know what the monsters are, because one problem I don't like with some of these movies where they tell you exactly what the monster is, and then I don't care because it doesn't make any sense, and you don't get any of that. And I think that's something that I appreciated this, because it's something
it leaves it up to you, because I saw some little articles I don't want to say, like right now. I guess we're doing
spoilers later.
But I was still kind of intrigued. Like I was curious to find out where that came from or how this happened.
Yeah, exactly. Well, I really liked the performances from pretty much everybody in this film. I think John Krasinski himself was really good. Emily Blunt was good. For the most part, the kid actors were really good. There were some times where I don't think it's the poor acting on the kid's part. Yes, the young deaf girl. It's not that she didn't do a killer job. I think that you're supposed to kind of be frustrated with her the whole film, and I absolutely was. So if that was something that they were directing her to do, then she did very, very well.
Yeah, I think it was the direction they were going. She was like in her teen rebellion.
She's very angsty.
Yes.
And then she made some decisions, and
so it was believable.
Yeah, very, very believable in that sense. So I think overall, kind of, it's a really great opener for John Krasinski. I hope he continues to do these types of films, because we don't get a lot of good monster movies, and I say this is like a pretty good monster movie. I mean, it could have been a little bit bigger. Like if he wants to go into like bigger monsters, I'd be totally up for it. But yeah, I think this is a step in the right direction.
You're talking about like The Mist.
Oh yeah.
Something like that.
Mm-hmm.
That would be pretty cool, right? It's a home run. Bam.
Mm-hmm.
It's a home run idea. No?
Baseball bat.
I'm not-
Play baseball. You want to play baseball? Baseball movie, knocked out of the park.
Sandlot.
Sandlot. Oh, I did like Sandlot. Sandlot's a great film.
That was amazing.
So he's pouring. Pouring. That's what this is. Baseball, home run, swing, knocked it out of the park. Fly ball.
Science.
Science.
Okay, it's got to be science. Swing away.
Oh.
Swing away.
All right. So, do you want to get into the final verdict so we can actually talk? This is a movie that I think you want to talk about. Once we can kind of tell you what's going on, we'll be more free with how we felt about certain parts. So, let's get to the final verdict. What did you think?
I really liked the acting. There wasn't a lot of dialogue, so.
Oh, yeah.
But you could tell the emotion and the pain they were going through. The kids were terrified, which is great. I was in I was at the edge of my seats at certain points. Some things were pretty far-fetched.
A little bit. It's a monster movie. I mean, you have to forgive it a little bit, but
yes.
Oh yeah,
the
I
baby.
know. The baby, the giving birth. And
why would you have a baby in this world? Babies is so loud, and you need to be
So
quiet.
spoilers. We want to talk because there's some things I want to talk about in the spoiler section.
Okay. I'm just saying. Overall, I really enjoyed this movie. I'm gonna give this an 8 out of 10.
An 8.
Yeah.
I like this movie. I think it's definitely above average. I don't know if I would lump it in at an 8. I mean, it's hard because I want to try to classify a movie. So it's like, as a horror movie, this is like a 5.
Yeah.
It's very average. As a monster suspenseful film, it's definitely better than that. I mean, I could maybe see 8, but I'm going to give this a 7.
Okay.
It comes from really strong performances from everyone involved. They did really clever things with the sound to try to build suspense, but it didn't feel artificial like it did in Dunkirk, where there's like a clock ticking in the background for no reason, just trying to drive up your suspense. So it didn't feel forced in that way, and so I'm gonna give this a 7. You ready to?
Okay, I can talk now. We got the waterfall going. So my final verdict: the film was so much tension. The performances were excellent. The subplot with the little girl being deaf and the monsters having to chase people around with sound is fascinating. Everybody puts in some really good performance. I didn't know that he had this kind of talent. He's a director. He's Jim. He's a soldier.
He helped write it too. Yeah.
Helped write it. So I'm happy that the film did well. However, I think it's going to be. If you have to suspend your disbelief. Why the hell would you try to bring a child into this world? Why the hell, when the monsters, obviously they get close. You've seen it in the trailers,
Jim,
if they can hear things
Don't
from
get too into it. There's a lot of spoilers that we want to talk about. Give us your final
all right.
verdict.
So 8 out of 10 if you can suspend your disbelief. If you can't, it is a good enough film that it's still a 7 out of 10. Even if you're like, no. That's bullshit. You know what I mean? It's still that good where it's at a 7. So I do think it's worth a watch if you're into these kinds of movies. And like they said, not really a horror, more like a sci-fi thriller monster flick for you guys. All right, so we tried something new. 7 out of 10, 8 out of 10, 7 out of 10. And thank you guys for watching. We'll talk about spoilers if you've already seen the film or if you're curious. Stay tuned, and we'll see you guys. And the reason why I run over you guys all the time is because I want to keep these things short. But hey, we kept it short now, so I'll let you guys talk a lot more next time. Hey, I like it. I always feel pressure to do it, so and Joe stumbled there at the beginning, but y'all recovered super easy. So, all right, guys, we'll see you on the next Angry Joe Show. Oh, welcome to the spoiler section. So the first thing I gotta say,
They're aliens.
The first thing, I mean, you didn't talk very much, so I imagine you got to get it all out. Now.
Yeah,
so go ahead.
is. Why the fuck would you have a baby in this world? Why would you get pregnant? Obviously, at the beginning of the film, they lose their child. You've seen the trailer where he's doing the little shuttle.
Oh, he's dead.
That motherfucker's dead. He puts the batteries back
right
in. Because
away.
we were bitching about that before we saw the film. We're like, why would you let him have a thing like that? Well, it turns out the father did take it away from him and said, no, it's too loud. Pull the batteries out. But then the sister gives it back to him, and she walks off, and he grabs the batteries and he puts it on. So it's the kid's fault. He's dumb, but whatever. He died. And but so you're a couple, and you're trying to protect these children, and you see how seriously intense they are about protecting their children, and they lose one, and now they want to have sex. Well, they want to have sex, and then it's like 1 year later after they had sex.
Finds a way.
Jim got too excited, and
what do you mean he got too excited?
He couldn't pull out. I guess.
Yeah, but why would you be having sex after you're? There's no laughing matter, Joe.
They find antibiotics.
Hey,
they find
trying to make a
everything.
joke
They
out of
can't
this.
find condoms.
Whatever. So exactly, and so they trying to bring a child in this world. What do babies do when they come out of vagina?
That was
the first
a
thing
really
they do.
quiet baby.
Yeah, that was
was.
super quiet, baby. So you have to suspend your disbelief. There's a moment where she got the baby and the monster is like literally right there, and the baby's like, I don't give a shit. Even though the baby can hear the monster going.
She was in labor for like 7 minutes.
Yeah.
Maybe 7 minutes. Like her water breaks. She walks upstairs and then she's like hiding for a little bit.
Yeah.
And then let's say maybe we gave her 30 minutes, and then all of a sudden like she's in the bathtub and she's giving birth, and like she's like, here, I've got you this baby. Here you go. What? That is the fastest labor ever.
And who else in here thinks it's incredibly stupid that this film is all about these monsters are detected by sound. They can detect you by sound. It's all about sound. Even the newspapers are like, it's sound. Mm-hmm. And not a single fucking scientist or military dude or anybody thought, let's use sound as a weapon to drive them away. Not a single person in this world.
Or
This
just to mask
movie is
yourself.
dumb as hell.
The
Premise is dumb as f***. Yeah. But once you suspend your disbelief, you're like, oh man, this is a really great film. But it's stupid as f***.
I had a hard time when they went to the waterfall. He takes his son out fishing to show them how to like be a man, and they're at the waterfall and they're like bad sound, like big sound covers up little sound, so we can talk here, and they're like shouting and they're having a great time.
It's a fun idea.
It's a fun idea, but they just show you right then and there that they get that if you play really loud sounds, they can't hear you. He's got speakers and everything everywhere. Why not just like blast music the entire time, and they won't be able to hear you.
Yeah, well, I think if there's music created, that was taken care of in the film when the TV comes on. When music is created, the thing will attack it and go out. Now, if it's a river, I think the things understand that they're swiping at water eventually, and they're like, "Fuck it, I'm leaving," because these things are blind. So they don't see it. And also raise your hand again if you were waiting for the monster to step on the fucking nail.
Yeah, they showed
And there's twice
Yeah,
because twice the
Nobody
monster
fixed
comes
it.
down the stairs, and I was like, "Come on,
Nobody
step on the
fixed it.
fucking nail!" Because in the film, like she catches a sack on this nail and it rips it up, and she steps on it, and then she goes into labor. So she's got this going on and this going on, and the monster comes down the stairs like 2 or 3 times and never steps on the nail. I know it probably would have been completely inappropriate, would have turned it into a comedy for half a second, but
the final
I was like,
5 seconds was kind of comedic, right? There was no reason to have that little thing where she cocks the shotgun and they're like,
I liked it. That's one of those
unnecessary.
little winks like, we've given you a good time, haven't we? Yeah, and I was like, all right, I did have a good time, because at the end, so they figure, what's the main, Joe, what is the main, how do you defeat the aliens? Or creatures, whatever they are.
With sound frequency.
Yeah, but more
feedback.
Yeah, frequency, you're right. Maybe they found a specific frequency through the...
Well, I guess it was feedback.
Through the, what do you call those things?
Hearing aids.
Hearing aids. And then she was able to amplify the hearing aid by putting it up to her speakers and essentially blow the head off of the alien. It went down, got back up. She finished it off with a shotgun since some of its armor shell had come off during the sound wave thing. But that's what I was saying earlier. It reminded me of Signs. I was trying to say, swing away and the water. So those aliens' weakness is water. It's so obvious that, well, that one wasn't as obvious, but it's a dumb weakness. This one was obvious from the beginning that, okay, they're probably weak to sound. Have nobody ever read a Venom comic?
This reminded me so much of Tremors.
Tremors?
Oh,
Yes.
No,
Like,
not me.
Yeah,
Me,
it's
it
like
was
the
Signs.
evolution.
100%.
It's like the evolution. These are creatures now that are like on ground and they attack with sound.
Oh, like...
And then but it starts
Oh, yeah, that's
progressing.
true. Okay, I get what you're saying.
Progressing. I was like,
Yeah.
all right, this is a new form of Tremors.
It's Tremors plus Signs, because they're on a farm, you have the corn
Very
stalks
secluded.
and all this stuff. But actually, I think it was probably done better, better than not. I don't know. Tremors is a
Tremors is
classic,
supposed to be like
so
really-
I can't compare it to that. But Signs, I think I like it a little bit better than Signs. I liked Signs a lot more than other people do because it
was
was
good.
really cool. But I didn't really care about those characters as much as I cared about, I think, these characters. Maybe it's just because I really like The Office and it's Jim. And
He did a better job building the world for sure.
yeah, he built the world up. And there were only like 3 creatures, but there were probably more at the end. Did you see more than 3?
No, there was only 3. There's 3 creatures in that specific area.
Yeah, she shotgunned one in the head and it attracted the other 2. And then that's when it does this little action thing.
She winks at the camera and then
she cocks her shut. She don't wink at the camera.
She winked at the camera.
No,
Like,
she
you know,
didn't.
like deep down.
Yeah, but yeah, a really great effort from Jim, and I think I heard he's gonna work on something else, like sci-fi or something on Mars, maybe also kind of a horror thing.
Interesting.
So I'll be down for it. Didn't know he had this
Horror
talent.
in Mars, you say?
Don't you bring up Ghost of
I
Mars, Joe? I don't know what this is crap. Hey, Joe watches too much crap. All right. Anyways, so anything else for spoilers? Let's see.
The old man was a jerk.
Yeah. So what
Yeah.
happened there? There was a
That was
lady
his
dead on the
wife.
So
ground.
his wife
His
dies.
wife died.
But was she bleeding from? Did he do something to her? Or she just
No,
died
no,
from
her
old
guts
age?
were torn open.
Yeah.
Okay, so they
The
previously
creature-
got attacked.
They got attacked, and so the old man and his wife had died, and then so
And they
Jim-
really picked somebody good who could do the whole bitter beer face.
Yeah.
Because he was, bah, he just wanted to suicide and kill himself.
But it was like it was almost like murder suicide type thing because
Yeah.
he knew exactly what he was doing. He waited for them. He let them stand there before
No,
he
he
brought
wasn't in his right mind. He I don't think he was purposely trying to kill them. He was just
He's just
I don't give a shit. Fuck it. But that was foreshadowing Jim's death, which I hated. I wish he didn't have to die. I thought they were gonna do something with the little gremlin on top of the car, and she was gonna activate her ear thing again and save him at the last minute. But no, that moment Jim took off, and they really pulled at your heartstrings because
He wanted a
after
glorious death.
you know she's the one that gave the shuttle to her little brother who died. And throughout the whole film, you think that maybe, you know, they don't love her and she feels isolated and very guilty. And he's never really tells her since then that he loves her. And then he tells her right then and there. He's like, you know, through the sign language that they've come up with. I think some of it was real signs. Some of it was probably just, you know, stuff that they created amongst their family. But he says he loves her. And I was like, oh, that got good. That's the father, man. And so I was like, all right. So when a movie can get you like that, you know, it's for me it's above average, and it was good. So yeah, all right. Well, that's it for me.
Well, I enjoyed the peace and quiet while it lasted. I mean, it was short lived, but
Oh, yeah. Man, the only reason I talk over you on purpose to get the reviews going quicker. But I'm not gonna do it anymore, you know. And I'm gonna let y'all struggle, and I'm not gonna cut or anything. Okay, you put the pressure on y'all, motherfuckers. All right. Well, thank you guys very much for watching, and we'll see you on the next Other Joe and Alex show.
yes.
There wasn't really much. Because, yeah, we just saw they're from outer space.
No,
Not
they didn't say they were from
necessarily.
outer
Well,
space.
I saw that article that said Angels
Angels of Death. Angels
Yeah,
of Death.
but
But I mean,
It
that's
doesn't
came
mean
from
from
above.
It could be creatures from underground.
in the ocean, so from the
Demons.
Marianas Trench. Yeah, it could be demon. It could be all sorts of things.
I like that they didn't answer that part.
Yeah, I don't like when they go when you try to explain the monsters or explain the science in sci-fi. It pisses me off because they never do a good job.
Very rarely, and when they do a good job, that becomes legendary.
I'm fine with saying that the rule is if you explain it, you're gonna screw it up, and like less than 1% of the time do they do a good job.
Okay, anything else, you fuckers?
No, I don't think there's anything for this.
Alright.